Sumit, important to understand that India, along with a number of other countries, has been a sufferer of terrorism. Israel is another example. It is surrounded by adversaries, but it's learned to protect itself. It's learned to pull its own weight when it comes to defending itself and not listen to the rest of the world as well. Do you think this was the first glimpse of that same pathology? It was a glimpse of that same character, Sumit, that same disposition that Israel also has, that we will not ask the Americans or the Chinese or the Russians before we defend anybody. We will not care for their opinion, and we will make sure that terrorists are associated with the country that nurtures them, that creates them, and that sends them across the border to kill unarmed Indian civilians and ask their religion.
Vinny, thank you for having me on your show. It's a very important show today, and thanks for the question. Look, it's very simple what we are facing right now. We are facing this terrorism for the last 35 years, maybe more than that. And if I go look at from a civilization perspective, few hundred years. There have been invaders coming and have been persecuting Hindus here, and I think maximum number of people who are killed by invaders across the world, if you look at the last 1,000 years, are Hindus. So we've taken the maximum brunt of this religious-based persecution in the name of expanding their kingdoms or terrorism. With time, it has manifested and changed forms. Today, we call it terrorism, but the ethos or the mentality remains the same. So answering your question very specifically, look, India has evolved. India has come forward. Today, India is the only country who has put a rogue, nuclear-powered neighbor, Pakistan, supported 101% with men, intel and machinery by another nuclear power, China, into a box. This has not done by anybody else. This Israel could not do it. United States of America has not done an operation like this. So when you were fighting, when we are in Operation Sindoor and we were taking on Pakistan, the equipment was Chinese. The drones were Chinese. The equipment, the men and machinery behind the equipment were Chinese. There are a lot of rumors a few Chinese engineers and technicians have died. There's a credible intel out of 100,000 people of China who were in Pakistan. Few selected were asked to leave Pakistan via KPK, via Afghanistan and Iran. Why only those few? What was China trying to hide? There are already visible claims that the joint military infrastructure of China and Pakistan, stationed in Pakistan, was hit on the periphery. There is credible evidence now Balochistan and POK China has listening stations and relay centers which have been compromised. And if you look at this HQ9, it was operated and manned by some possible Chinese technicians. Even there is credible sources which claim that the J-10 complete operation was still managed by the Chinese technicians. So when you were fighting Pakistan, you were fighting China and Pakistan together, and both of them are nuclear powered. Still, you could do what you could do. This has not been achieved by Israel. This has not been achieved by United States of America. So the India's message is loud and clear. But only one thing where we need to kind of improve a bit is that when you look at our foreign policy, which is brilliant and good, but I cannot change my adversary. If my adversary, which is Pakistan predominantly, looks this fight as a civilizational fight, I can choose to be ostrich, I can look at pure geopolitical, but wo to nahi sudrega na. He's looking from that lens. So what we need to do is we need to put another lens to our diplomacy and pass everything through these two lenses, and then you'll be in a better position to find who are friends and who are not. And I always believe if Israel has a right to defend itself, India has a right to defend itself. You can't say to the 18% of the population of the world, you will take my permission to defend. And what the hell? You take approval from Chinese who are hand in glove with Pakistan. We have seen Chinese leave Kohota. We have seen Chinese technician in Pakistan's nuclear facilities. These days, there's a lot of things which have come in. And after 115 Chinese spy satellites looking at us, Chinese AWACS tracking us, Chinese military intel tracking us, still we could beat Pakistanis black and blue. Now China is really rattled. They don't know what to do because the jinx of Chinese invisibility is kind of compromised. As far as Pakistan is concerned, wo to nanga bikha rahi hai. It doesn't matter much to them. The problem is with Chinese, whose military might is now questionable. Their arsenal is now questionable, and thus such a circumstance, Modi ji has shown the political will which no other Prime Minister of India so far has even come near to, because you are handling a joint venture between Pakistan and China, and both are nuclear powered. And what Modi ji has demonstrated is that Operation Sindoor is perpetually on, and now who's running for cover is Pakistan, and who's running behind the bylanes is China. That is why some of their citizens were ordered to leave through KPK and Afghanistan. They were much unsafer. They are much safer in a Lahore than a KPK or Afghanistan. Then move out through Iran. Why was that done? Because we know what they were trying to hide. They were trying to hide this nexus. They were trying to hide this joint military ops which was happening. and the day this information will hit the world, they were rattled. So this is what India has achieved. This is a phenomenal success, and India should continue the tempo. India should not let down the guard. India should send a very clear message to the world. We don't need your approval. We don't need your dictation. We don't need your good boy certificates, or we don't even mind your bad boy certificates. If Israel can do it with such a small population, Bharat bahut bada. India is very big, and the army is much more powerful. We can do it today. Who is running?
But do you think, Sumit, that the bias that the Western world holds towards India is also